Hey, Wicked DK here, preparing for the week of destiny, the most important week in the history of the Kings organization. Okay, not at all, but we got to come up with some way to be excited this season. And the week of destiny is our excuse this week. Yes, there can be only one. Two other bad teams come into town. The Wild and the Detroit Red Wings. So the Kings are 5-11-1, 11 points, minus 23 goal differential. And these two teams are competing with us. The Wild 6-10-1, 13 points, a minus 14 differential, a miserly minus 14. And then the Red Wings 6-12-1, 13 points, minus 30 differential. Woo, Nelly. This is some quality hockey that's about to happen. Now, if you're wondering what there can be only one refers to, it's a film called The Highlander. And it was, well, I'm shocked it didn't win an Oscar, but it was like the perfect hangover movie. So that Sunday morning, you're laying on the couch, you're looking for something to watch. It doesn't require a lot of attention because you need something like an obvious plot, but it has some interesting and cool stuff in it. The Highlander was it. And it had, I can't even remember the name of the main character, but Sean Connery showed up for a couple scenes to collect the paycheck. In fact, there was a great scene of him fighting the main character. They're like practice fighting. And they're out on this rock overhang. It's kind of overhanging the ocean waves, very dramatic looking. But unfortunately, at that point, good old Sean, he was a little bit older, not the most mobile guy. So he's up there fighting, sword fighting, and he never actually moves his legs. He's moving his arms, but not his legs. So yeah, it's one of those movies. But you're laying there and you're watching him and you're thinking, how'd they get him up there? What if he falls? Do they have him like roped off? How are they doing this? This looks perilous. I hope he's getting paid a lot. It's one of those movies where you're sitting there and like for the next 6 months you keep remembering lines and blurting them out the wrong time, like in the middle of your IRS audit. There can be only one deduction. And in fact, I think the rock out, the little rock that they're on, it's like points out, I don't know how to describe it, like a spear kind of a thing. I think it's being used in the new Star Wars movie. If you look at the trailer, there's a part of it where they're out there on a rock in the middle of the water and they're fighting away with their lightsabers. I don't think it's exactly the same one, but it looked like that. Well, maybe it is. Who knows? Hollywood. So what about these teams? The Wild, the Minnesota Wild. I thought they'd regress this year. I didn't think they'd be this bad, but yeah, been a pretty rough year. So they're an interesting team. You think our contracts are bad? Whoo, you should look at the Wild contract. Zach Parise and Suter, of course, signed their contracts under the old CBA. So they go on and on and on until the boys, I think, are like 40 or 41. Still solid players, not what they were, of course, but not bad players. Of course, Parise, though, always seems to be injury prone and out quite a bit. And in general, the Wild are just kind of a team that's getting older. Now they traded for Ryan Donato last year. Remember, they sent Charlie Coyle to the Bruins, and Donato was going to be the answer. Well, not so far. 15 games, 1 goal, 3 points. They went outside Matt Zuccarella, the Zuccarini, the Zuccaro. And yeah, it's not been a great start for Mats either. 3 goals in 13 games. Not terrible, but he's -8. And just generally the team hasn't been playing well. They got Mikko Kovu still playing center, and he's 35 and definitely slowed down. So not great, but you got to think if there's one of these 3 teams that's going to bounce back, this would probably be the one because they have the Cherub. The Cherub is leading them. Brucey Bordeaux, the all-time greatest NHL regular season coach, of course. One of the worst playoff coaches ever, but definitely one of the great regular season coaches. So you have to figure he'll rally him. In fact, if you took Bruce and you teamed him up with the Sedin twins, you would have the trifecta of regular season excellence and playoff failure. So the Wild, they've won a couple games recently, so you have to think, they may give the Kings a game. Nonetheless, our first home game against a team that's as poor as we are, you got to think, come on, Kings, you got to win this one. And then Thursday we have the Red Wings. Stevie Y, I got to say, man, he must really love Detroit. Because you look at this team and you look at the organizational situation, and man, it's not good. You can pop over to Cap Friendly, and man, they are paying guys I thought were dead. Remember Franzen, the big power forward guy? Yeah, they're still paying him. He hasn't played in like 4 years. Now, unfortunately, he had a bad concussion, so you have to feel bad for him. But I mean, they have like $10 million in dead money this year. Now that's all about to end. It's starting to clear up, but still, whew, that's pretty brutal. You look at the actual team on the ice; they're actually a little bit ahead of the Kings because they have some really nice forward prospects. They got Larkin, Bertuzzi, that Greek guy whose name I can't pronounce, who had a great goal last night, and some players like that. But the areas where they don't have quality young prospects, boy, they are bad. I think their defense is just awful. They have, they finally cut Jonathan Erickson, who I never understood why he was playing in the NHL. But I think they still have, Mike Green on their first defensive pairing? Yikes. He wasn't good when he was healthy, and I think he had like a brutal neck injury a couple of years ago. In fact, I was kind of surprised to see he's still playing. But unlike the Kings, Stevie Y did not sit on his butt. He has actually been making moves. I know all of you people. There are now trades in November. Yes, there are. He's made 2 or 3 of them. He got Fabry out of St. Louis, which was pretty shocking to me until I realized he had knee injuries. However, they can't be that bad because he scored 2 goals in his first game. He also, Stevie Y also traded for Perlini. I think another guy, I don't remember who the other one was. But he's been making moves, and it's been helping, and the Red Wings have been playing better. One of the interesting things about the moves that he made that I was reading about is they weren't just random. He was actually looking for players who had played with his prospects before, so that they already had kind of a synchronicity. They had that karma, magical wow thing going on, and apparently it's worked. So I think Fabry played with Larkin maybe, or Bertuzzi, one of the two. And so when he brings them in, it's not like it's just coming in out of the cold. They're actually used to playing with some of these guys. What a concept. But Detroit, looks like they're a long way away. So the Kings, 2 big old opportunities to get off the schneid and get a win. What's going to happen? Your guess is as good as mine. I'm going to say the Kings go 1-1. I think they beat the Wild, lose to the Red Wings, and I base that on nothing other than just randomly picking conclusions out of the air. More or less like all my videos. So anyways, let me know what you think. Geek out.